And we are live.
I
Hi, guys. Welcome to another fantabulous episode of Behold Lore. I am your hostess, Zoro from E3, and I'm here with my fellow lore masters, Rhojin Quest and HB Fox. And for us, it's been a week by the time this is aired. We took the week off. We had some in laws in town for our first birthday. We had some games come out where some people took advantage of that and did some extra live streams. So yeah, we took a week off, and we are ready to talk some D&D. So for those of you who are visually here, I am no cam today because I'm feeling a little bit under the weather because everyone this week got sick, except me. So I'm fighting it off. There's a little tickle, but I'm fighting it off. Here's hoping nothing happens. Ugh. But anyway, today, we are going to be talking about special NPCs. These are NPCs that we are familiar with for our longtime fans that are watching across several of our shows. The big one being Bimmy, which had a interesting event recently in our Destiny Forged game. Along with a few other characters that are either special NPCs or reoccurring NPCs. I may have accidentally... Wait, what? Rhojin, first of all, thank you for the 52 months of being a sub. You may have accidentally another campaign.
yeah
What? Oh
yeah.
no.
While working on campaign 3, I've been creating a side campaign.
Go on.
Gonna be in this world, but I'm not entirely. I don't know where the setting is going to be.
You mean like the season 3 world?
And well, same world that season 2, season 3 are taking place at, but it's gonna be in a different part.
Ah.
But yeah, I may have accidentally something.
Well, isn't an accidentally something just an opportunity for more characters and dice shenanigans?
Yeah, and we do have extra days during the week to play games, so maybe another show's coming.
Well, stay tuned, guys. You heard it here, folks. First, folks. So between that and Sonata campaign coming up,
And Avatar
and
coming up in
Avatar.
next year.
I don't think I ever agreed to a Sonata campaign.
Hey, when baby number 2 rolls around, that is an opportunity, my good friend. It's not a
Think
campaign.
about it.
Do it, you coward. Okay.
Wow.
I'm
Well, right
feisty.
then.
You know what? I blame the cider. Anyway.
Oh, wait, do you have apple cider?
Not only do I have apple cider, but we are just a few minutes away from a farmland area that's very popular where we witness them juicing the apples and making it right then and there in a jug for us.
I want apple cider.
Fresh. It's delicious that time of year. If it's not pumpkin spice everything, it's apple cider everything.
I'm not a fan of pumpkin spice, but I absolutely love apple cider.
It's delicious. So yeah, that's what's helping my throat right now. Right, specialized NPCs. First, let's talk about, just because it's so fresh on our minds right now, let's talk about Bimmy first and
Who?
foremost. Bimmy,
Never
for
heard
those
of
of
him.
you for those of you who haven't actually heard of him, he owns a shop pretty much in every city and town that we have encountered on the Destiny Forged continent that we know of so far. And he is not all there. He's definitely a little loco. And he carries magic items that do all kinds of dangerous, horrible, odd. Not every single one of them is dangerous, but there's a handful of odd ones. But they're mostly just bad. Just bad. That we hear the name Bimmy and we just dread it. So Bimmy and his family owns everything, all these shops. And then we recently discovered, when we went to the collector, that he is the first Bimmy before he became a death tyrant and a different kind of crazy. But he's a sane crazy, in my opinion. He's a little more level-headed, I use that loosely, for the Bimmies. And when a certain Knoll decided to ring a bell, because bells are just always fun here on this channel, something happened to him. We don't know what, but a whole bunch of souls and beings just kind of left his little sanctuary, potentially even him. So, with him possibly being done, maybe, question mark. Rhojin, tell us about Bimmy. Give us some Bimmy lore.
Well, for clarification, yes, he is done.
So you heard it here. Kyo killed Bimmy.
Kyo
The Bimmy.
killed the Bimmy. Well, not necessarily Kyo, but what Kyo summoned killed Bimmy.
Oh, and just really quick too, what happened was we discovered that with the original Bimmy being gone, the rest, as far as we know, have gone as well. They were all a spell, some sort of manifestation that weren't really Bimmies.
All the little Bimmies that you guys have run into in the world were different times and places of him casting just multiple simulacrums.
You know, the Kaskar one was the most dangerous in my opinion that we've encountered, so, you know. I'm not crying over that one. So tell us about Bimmy.
So I kind of tweaked Bimmy a little ways along the way. Normally he wasn't going to be a simulacrum of the collector. He was just going to be, or the Bimmies were just going to be a crazy little gnome family that had got into the import and export of various and sometimes magical items that then they would sell for ridiculously low prices to anybody who wanted them. And it just slowly but surely started to snowball out of control as more and more shops opened up across the world. But I think it was about 2 weeks before before you all went to go, meet the collector. I had just that little twisted idea of like lumping them all together. There was going to be more lore that you were going to be able to learn about the collector, and about why he did the things he did and why he didn't want anything to do with the technically his offspring anymore. But a certain bell kind of put that to rest.
So Kyo ruined some potential lore. I say it like it's a bad thing, but now I wasn't here for the first campaign. Was Bimmy ever in the first one?
Bimmy wasn't, but the collector was. The collector, but he appeared completely different than what he was in this form. But as you guys learned,
he's powerful enough.
Well, yeah, he can disguise himself to look multiple different ways. It's like even that little death tyrant image that everybody saw with like him hanging out in the corner, or when he was talking to Zale, was just a means to mask his true identity.
Makes sense.
Because he would have learned that he's being hunted. He was being hunted by a group that he used to belong to. And they were the group. Oh, I'm not gonna go that far because that group may come into effect later on.
Considering how blood hunters are going to be, I don't want to say bigger in campaign 3 because I don't know that offhand, but they would make sense for campaign 3. I figure that they would probably maybe somewhat be involved.
Oh no, it has nothing to do with anything on the prime material plane.
Oh, okay, that does make sense as well. Yep. Now, why did you create Bimmy originally? Was it just
chaos.
A little piece of chaos, and then you decided that you loved him so much to kind of expand on him and make him a more important character?
Pretty much chaos. It was just, you guys were in town. Everybody wanted to go to the magic shop. So I'm like, I'm going to throw a little curveball into the mix. And
of course,
let's just see how it goes about.
Well,
no, Azarin, Bimmy is not a Q.
Well,
he's not like Null.
You were successful because not only did you create chaos, you killed 2 characters at the same time. First time we met Bimmy. So
that wasn't my fault.
Well, you know what? Let's just say Tickles had the information of what the weapon could do and thought it was a great idea to fire it straight above her head. So that's true. Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. So technically
they got
no
better.
more Bimmy. Do we get to know who did this to Bimmy when the bell brought about this chaos?
Yeah, it was the same. It was the same creatures that you thought beforehand were Dulahans that were talking to Zale about, not Zale, but Kyo about restoring balance.
Oh.
And when Kyo was in the soul chamber with all those souls captured and everything, she rang the bell, and it gave her a single chime, giving her sort of a notification that they got the message. And as soon as Kyo walked out of the exit of the vault, they knew where Kyo was at, and then they knew where the vault was at.
Now what about the objects inside the vault? Did that kind of go with it, or is it still inside?
The vault is no longer there. As for the objects, they're scattered about.
Oh, okay. So we have an opportunity to kind of find these objects if we wanted to.
Yeah, because as you saw during the game, all those people and creatures and everything that were spilling out into the portal or out from that crater were people and creatures and entities and stuff from this material plane that had been captured by him throughout his life.
Right.
And so they were just freed and to go about their own way. Some of them good, some of them bad.
Oh, I imagine.
As well as there are now just a treasure trove of items that are scattered out into the world that you guys can now come across in like season 2, season 3, other games like that. Like there are just unspeakable things that Kyo has released onto the world.
See, that's exciting. And my original plan was like, I wonder if everything got left behind, do the bell beforehand so we didn't have to go through all that shit, but that's
yeah, because you only had a small taste of the size of that vault.
Oh yeah. Oh, I imagine so. I mean, for someone being around for as long as he was, I'm sure he expanded. He reminds me, and probably the name, who knows if this was the inspiration for the name, he reminds me of the Collector from Guardians of the Galaxy, where he just has this basically this whole planet to himself, just full of all of his trinkets.
I originally did base him off of Marvel's Collector,
but which was perfect.
Just made him a little more, Bimmy.
Yes, of course, yeah. So technically, if you guys didn't save Ash, Chicken Ash would be free now. Thank you, Kyo. Chicken
Ash would be free. Yes.
I'd be dead, but I'd be free.
No, you wouldn't. Everybody would be alive. Everybody that was captured in the vault, the humans, like the humanoids anyway, that you came across were those who failed the game previously. They were restored to life and then freed out into the world.
Oh, that's unfortunate for that one tree guy.
You have a lot of people and a lot of creatures who are now lost in time, because their world is no longer a thing.
Yeah.
And I will say you released one of the old ones as well. One of the old ones was in the vault.
Whoops.
For those of you listening in, HP Fox just made a oh shit face.
Hey, look, HP Fox has now officially woken up 2 old ones.
Oh God.
Gotta stop doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, Bimmy was fun.
That's a different season's problem.
That's true. That's something we kept saying. That's season 3's problem. Whatever. And who knows? It probably is. But Bimmy was definitely an interesting, chaotic character whose name we all feared.
Funny enough, one of our friends, General Auric, let me know that the old Warhammer MMO has a private server thing out, and I've created a goblin shaman and I've named him Bimmy. So now Bimmy will continue to live on as a shaman.
Aw, that's so nice to honor him that way. Chaotic goblin. Now we do have, I'm going to jump around a little bit, going back and forth between some campaigns, because on my list, unless you guys have anything else you want to add to it, a good chunk of them are from Destiny Forge, but I do have some from other campaigns. One of them being Eugene, and forgive me if I'm mispronouncing this, Alceus?
Yes.
The fox.
Yeah.
From Sonata. Both these characters are from Sonata. I imagine we probably won't get too much information because it is an ongoing series. However, if you have anything to add as to what your inspiration was for these recurring characters and what they bring to the Sonata story, Fox.
So, I guess starting with Eugene, obviously I needed some kind of antagonist for Sonata 1, and kind of a lead in to the overarching story of all the Sonatas. And given that there was such a heavy focus on werewolves in Sonata 1, I wanted the kind of stereotypical opponent for werewolves, a werewolf hunter. And the more I started to develop Eugene, the more I wanted to give him a personal connection to the people that he was trying to expose and trying to hunt. And that's where I came up with the idea of him originally being part of that family of werewolves and having done something that got him exiled, essentially. And then he was back for revenge, and that's when you guys met up with him. From there, I knew he was going to die at the end of Sonata 1, and I didn't really have a full picture of what was going to happen to him after that. And when I started to develop Sonata 2, I kind of went back to him and looked at how he died and how there was no real confirmation of his death aside from seeing him fall hundreds of feet, which good assumption probably died from. And so I integrated him back into it in kind of a warlock type way, where
Right.
the patron saw somebody that was desperate and vulnerable and preyed on them in order to use them for their own purpose, and that's what Eugene became. Now there is a lot more to him, which you guys are going to be seeing in Sonata 3, since you chose the Eugene adventure for Sonata 3. And I'm really excited to get into that. But he started out basically as just a werewolf hunter type character and went from there.
Yeah, because we only saw him very briefly.
Yeah.
Just a couple minutes really from the Sonata 2 story, and just kind of went off, and that's where we found the Alceus and everything. So
yeah,
it'll be very interesting to learn more about him, because we don't know still, if I remember correctly, we still don't know what he did to get kicked out.
It hasn't been revealed. In Sonata 3, you will be traveling with somebody from Winterclaw Keep. One of the werewolves will be with the group for a little while. So there will be an opportunity to learn more about him and the things that he's done.
Is it Anita?
It is.
Antia. Sorry.
Antia.
Antia,
Yes.
sorry. I was going to say, because she's reoccurring as well.
She is, yes. She kind of reoccurring.
Yeah, second one, she was there, but it's like, oh, bad situation.
Yeah, she's a character that has kind of been in the peripheral vision of that campaign or that series of adventures. You visited her room and rummaged through her stuff in Sonata 1, and then you saw her briefly in Sonata 2 locked in battle, and you spoke with her Winterwolf companion quite a bit. But as far as interactions with her specifically, there hasn't really been any. So I'm looking forward to getting into that in Sonata 3.
Now, I completely forgot what Snowdrop named that wolf. Was it that wolf? She did name one of the wolves.
She did name one of the wolves. The one that she named is the brother of Antia's companion.
Oh,
so
okay.
there's 2 Winterwolf brothers that reside in the keep. One of them often travels with Antia, and the other one usually stays behind and guards the place.
Got it. Oh, Snowflake. There we go. Snowflake.
That's right. I should probably write that down.
I know that ShadowFox recently rewatched the Sonata, which I need to start doing now that it's October. Start rewatching that so I can remember the lore a little more fresh in my mind. Everyone else, please do that too on our YouTube. Check it out. And what about Alcius? She never technically made an appearance in the first one, but you did hint that if we did go further in the forest, we may have had an encounter with her. So, is her purpose just to stay in this forest, or can we expect to see more of her in the future of Sonata?
She will likely appear here and there in Sonata. She is essentially a history book in that series of adventures. Being an archfey, she's been around for a very, very long time, and she has a direct connection to the old Caldera Lyceum that fought the Shadow originally. And so if you had chosen the other adventure for Sonata 3, you would have been dealing with Alcius a lot more directly.
Dang it.
So anything in the future that takes place kind of in that area, Kalmira, the capital city, or has to do directly with rebuilding the Lyceum, she's likely to make an appearance again. She won't be a character that directly involves herself in the player character stories.
Except Kage.
She'll be more like, slightly in Kage's. She's more of a character that's like, okay, here's some information, happy to answer questions. Okay, now I have to go do a different thing, because I'm not gonna put an archfey in a position to help the players, because that's just OP. But that's yeah, fair. She's based on a character design of mine that I've had for literal decades at this point. So having her there is also just a slight point of vanity for myself.
See, and you kind of, I don't know about everyone else, but you put me in a tough situation, because when you said, hey, scenario 1 or 2, this one is important for characters, but this one you get more lore and information. I'm like, why not both?
I thought about that for a long time. I thought about why not both, but
be hard to tell in a one shot.
The Sonata story is going to just get progressively darker, and there are some problems that you guys are just going to have to make a choice for. Do we solve this problem and leave that one to fester, or do we solve that problem and leave this one to fester? Because not everything can be done sequentially. Things happen simultaneously. So there's going to be a lot more choices like that come up.
Sounds to me like you have a lot of information to give and not enough fair time. So campaign?
So more Sonata adventures, mini adventures. Yes, I agree.
So twice a year instead of once a year.
Maybe.
He's thinking about it.
That might be doable.
Okay.
Every week.
We'll just do a mini adventure 4 times a month, every month.
I think I can make that work. Yeah, we'll see. All right, so next on my list, what I have, and again, if you guys have anything to contribute, please let me know. A couple other people, since we have a short amount of time, I'm going to lump them all together. Back on Destiny Forged, we have Ashtal, which is the wanderer at the Shadow Roads that Rose keeps encountering, as well as Jazzy and Sally. They are reoccurring characters, especially Jazzy. Jazzy came back. Yep. She wasn't a character I expected to see coming back. So, Rhojin, go ahead and tell me your inspiration for them and why you wanted to make them reoccurring characters and important to the story.
They originally weren't supposed to be reoccurring characters. They were just supposed to be little NPCs that you guys met along the way, but like most D&D games, people fall in love with certain NPCs, so, they kind of stick around. They're like homeless cats that you pick up from the shelter. They're once you fall in love with them, they're always around.
That's fair. Yeah. Now, we are learning a little bit more, very, very little, about Ashtal and his role. Is there anything you can give us with... I mean, unless you want it to be a spoiler.
So like he has revealed, Ashtal is a god of fate. He is one of a small handful of gods of fate that tend to keep an eye on the prime material and the other planes connected to it. Though he has sort of a certain interest in Fey politics, and it's one of the reasons why that he keeps an eye, like a watchful eye over Rose, and has sort of formed sort of a bond with her.
Because there's a lot of shit happening right now with the Fae.
He's not really somebody who will get directly involved, but he's kind of like that go-to information guy. He's you know, the guy that you know, like I got a guy. You know, you go to him, you talk to him, he'll give you whatever information he can, but he'll never really make it one-sided, because anybody could come to him and he'll give them information as well. He kind of keeps things balanced.
So,
until he gives Rose a cheat death stick, and then
that's true. So if he wanted to, if Rose said, "Cool, I need some dirt on the queen," and then leaves, and the queen's just like, "Hey, what's up?" and he's like, "Hey, people are looking for dirt on you."
No, he would not do that, because he keeps.
Unless they ask.
He's a professional. He will never say that oh, so and so's looking for dirt on you.
Oh, client-patient confidentiality. I like it.
Yeah. He'll say somebody's looking for information on you, but he won't give you the information on who.
Right.
Kind of like, hey, somebody out there is looking for you, trying to find something out about you. Hide your shit as best as possible. Don't let them see the skeletons in the closet.
And he kind of did that towards Rose. He did say she's looking for something, and that was it. And he's like, oh, yeah, well, we already know that. He's like, well, he's looking for something else.
Yeah.
It's like, whether that's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, either way, he kept his lip sealed, and it was, okay.
It's like, no, she's looking for something else, but I can't tell you specifically what it is.
Right. And so that's when you started to maybe make Sally more important, aside from...
Oh, Sally has been a plan from the start.
Oh, really?
Sally has been a plan since you first met her. Back in like episode 6.
Oh, okay.
And like I've said before, like as you guys are doing things, there's a small little timeline that I have of when things in the world are actually going along with it.
Right.
And Sally's reintroduction when Rose reached out to her lines up perfectly for things that are about to happen. But yeah, Sally's been on her own little adventure since you guys last saw her. And she's had her own bumps and bruises and betrayals. And she's getting to become a little bit more jaded at the world.
Oh no, she is Rose's sister.
Yeah, she's starting to see the world for what it actually is. If that's a good thing or a bad thing, well, that's that's up to whoever you ask. But she's definitely maturing in a world to where she has the threat of assassination and possibly taking a seat of power in one of the most like influential peoples that have connection with the prime material plane.
Well, hopefully, I mean, even if she wasn't Rose's sister, we have good enough in with her that we will not be slaughtered if she ever goes chaotic.
Well, she does have that, that strange third eye.
That's true. We helped our mama. We're the good guys. Even though we don't really look it.
Or act like it sometimes.
We try to be good. It just...
How many towns have you burned now?
4? 5?
None
5.
Deliberately.
I'm not counting Kaskar because there was danger that followed us and we said, okay, we're getting out. And so I'm not counting Kaskar.
No, we did burn one deliberately.
Yeah, Glimmer Cross. At one point, it was Dagger Tree. Port Nowhere, or not Port Nowhere. Was it Port Nowhere? What's that port called? Oh god, I don't have the map in front of me.
Which one?
Port Passing?
Port Passing! There we go.
Port Nowhere is a good name. We're gonna have to throw that in
It's
somewhere.
like,
Put
where
that
did
on
I
the
get
list for
Port
season
Nowhere
3.
from? I was like, I know that's wrong, but where the hell did I pull Port Nowhere out of my ass?
I have a
Okay.
way. I have a way to work Port Nowhere into the season 3 map.
That, you know what? Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so we're
Whatever
creeping up.
happens in Port Nowhere now during season 3, you blame Zoro because she's the one who came up with the name.
I'm okay with that. Maybe. I don't know. But we have time for probably one more to sneak in. I do have one last one unless you guys had anything for each other or wanted to share.
I mean, I have questions, but it's about season 2 NPCs that have been contacted and may be coming back, so I don't want to spoil anything for myself.
That's fair.
I know exactly who you're talking about too.
I imagine we will have a end of the campaign, maybe a couple hours or something of just talking about stuff that we missed or enjoyed, as well as our character questions for each other. So I imagine that's all going to come out later. So
A special Behold Lore episode with the entire cast of season 2.
Yeah, and that's something I could see us doing for all the shows too. At some point, just kind of end and go like, all right, let's get the nitty gritty out there. So for now, put that in your back pocket till it's time, Fox. So the only other one I can think of is Yith. Yith has been, we all know that Yith is a big part of Zale's backstory, but he kind of became a bigger character as far as became an almost lich, and now is potentially maybe going to be the future author, storyteller of the world, keeper of the books, and all that jazz. Did you intend Yith to be as big as he is now, more so than just from the lich part of the story, because he has so much more involvement now?
Yith was, and still is technically for me anyway, a work in progress. Since he is like one of HB Fox's creations, I didn't want to go too overboard with it, but thankfully from what we have done with him, it kind of fits in nicely with the campaign. But he necessarily did not become a huge focus until Ash did the thing and drank the silver tongue potion, and then then Yith was taken. After that, it was like, okay, perfect. I now have somebody in place in Kalmira to get the skull. The skull, because they had the skull, they didn't have the crown.
I feel like I made up for it and stopped him from becoming a lich.
Yeah, he cut his arm off.
It was kind of like heat of the moment. There's nothing else because everything was happening fast. We had seconds, I'm sure. I don't know. I acted and it worked. So magic can restore that shit to a certain extent, so we're fine. We're fine.
Except he keeps saying no.
Aww. Because he's happy. He's just so positive. He's a glass half full kind of Noel.
He is. Like, at the beginning of the campaign, as I was writing Zale's backstory, I created Yith, and I basically went to Rhojin, like, here, I made this soft boy. You can have him. And then this happened. And he's still... I really enjoy interacting with Yith because he is still very much that same happy, soft character that he was at the beginning of the campaign. But when you talk to him, you can also feel everything that he's gone through. Like, it's there and the weight is on him. But he's a character that still tries to maintain that same air that he had about him at the beginning. And he is, I think, one of my favorite NPCs, trying to put aside the connection that my own characters have to him. I think he is one of my favorite NPCs just for that reason.
He's
Yeah,
also
he's
the
so
one who
sweet.
gets thrown against the wall anytime a loud noise wakes up Zay.
Yes.
man, Zil got pregnant again. That's not good times. Well, I mean for him.
Which is something I need to talk to Fox about, unless it's going to be like some sort of reveal later on, just because of who Yith actually is at this point in time, what that means for the children.
My DMs are open.
Yeah, that's definitely something. I know there's something else going on. I just don't know what, and that's definitely something I'm looking forward to. Not only for the reveal in this, but getting all the info at the end of campaign discussion.
he did reveal that when after you guys rescued him, that he was not actually the same Yith.
Yep. I do remember that.
Shit changed.
Mm-hmm.
And so Zale went and got pregnant again, and well, be interesting to see what exactly these pups have from Yith's side now.
I'm definitely intrigued, and I'm having a good time acting as Zale, pretending to know that like what's going on. Like when Rose came to see Yith and Zale to deliver the artifacts, and Yith revealed who he was to Rose, and Zale is just like, yeah, I know about that. She didn't know about that. She was bullshitting. But it's fun to.
As soon as Rose leaves, what the fuck did you just
pretty
say?
much like I have that headcanon where as soon as like the camera goes off of them, Zale's like, yes, what the fuck?
You're what now?
Trying to act like, yeah, no, this is old news, Rose. Where have you been? What?
Yep.
I love it though.
Yeah, the dynamic between those characters it's a good time. I have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. I love it. Miss them.
I will say that Yith has one or two more big reveals coming up.
Depending on when we decide to end this.
As well as a couple other characters.
Snap, we need to do more side quests is what he's telling us.
That's what I'm hearing.
After the Hakarl.
You people and your freaking side quests. I'm sitting here like the story is almost complete, and everyone's like, we got to go collect all 32 acorns.
Hey, you told us you were excited for the Hakarl capital, okay? Not only that, but we've been itching to do that forever. So damn it, we were going to do it.
The Hakarl capital, yes. But then everyone's like, oh, we got to go kill this guy. We got to go, raise this kingdom, and we got to go give this guy a cookie. Meanwhile, the Fae Queen's over here just like plotting and going about her things, getting her stuff.
This is why I never finished Skyrim, because if you need me to go across the continent and collect these stupid flowers, and you need like 55 of them, all right, give me the damn quest. What do you want? I'll do it.
And I mean, to be fair, granted, I can only speak for myself here, but I'm partially wanting to do all the side quests just because I know I'm going to cry like a baby when the campaign is over, and I don't want it to be over. So.
Yeah, I don't want to retire Ash, but so much has happened. I'm just like, oh, poor girl needs a break.
You guys have after the campaign is done, you have one more go as your characters in the Battle Royale.
It's true.
Are we going to be level 20 for that?
Everyone will be level 20.
Everyone keeps talking about ganging up on Zale, so I don't know if I should be looking forward to that or not.
Are you going to play as Zale or Kyo?
I don't know.
Okay, you can't play Zale pregnant because we're not going to hit you.
That's
below the belt.
They're a tag team. Now, I will say this for the Battle Royale, you do not have any of your gear. This is
So I'm going to punch everyone in the face?
This is a true to life Battle Royale. Like, there are items and whatnot that you can grab from chests and to equip yourself on, but people aren't going to go in like Tickle's going in with the Judgment and the Dragon Bracer and deciding just to waste everybody round one with an ancient Void Dragon shot.
Oh, me and Callistra are going to kick your guys' ass with punching you in the face.
Yeah, I don't know if I play Zale.
93 action surges.
Yeah.
If I play Zale, Zale doesn't really use a lot of equipment. It's all just her unarmed claw strikes
Yeah.
and stuff. So she has really strong survivability. But then Kyo, I mean, she's
Fireball.
a caster, so she
Just
doesn't
fireball.
need equipment
Yeah.
either. So she's a really heavy hitter, but her heavy hits are limited by her number of spell slots.
Yeah.
So
As you
I'm
just turn into a
undecided.
dragon.
Yeah, I do that too.
Is that legal? Is that allowed?
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's a spell.
Level 20.
Beezale.
Whatever you are at the end of the game, and like at this, I'm gonna let everybody level their characters up to the equivalent of 20. You get what you get.
And you know what? Kyo at level 20, once she hits that Archdruid, she doesn't need components for her spells at that point. So that's even better.
It's like, I feel like if no one uses their spells, I'd have a better chance.
If we can't use spells, then Kyo is useless.
Yeah.
You've got your claws in your teeth.
When was the last time you saw Kyo do an unarmed strike on someone?
On her Hikaru boyfriend.
You weren't supposed to be watching that.
You didn't see that.
Yeah, but the player knows. Wah, wah.
Yeah, and she lost that fight.
Did she really care though?
No. ShadowFox, we will not do an evil adventure because unfortunately, evil campaigns get out of hand.
Yeah, it's already out of hand and we're supposedly good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Evil campaigns descend into chaos way too fast.
That's very true.
And then the group ends up trying to kill one another.
It's also true. I would totally have Jawvoth for that campaign. He's not evil, but he certainly acts like it. Yeah. Anyway, so speaking of ShadowFox, he is our guest, and he's going to hang out with us here. We're actually going to go ahead and take our break. And when we come back, ShadowFox will be joining us as we ask him some questions about any characters across any campaign in one shot. So if you haven't dropped any questions for me earlier, definitely drop them in the chat, and I will do my best to ask him as much as possible because we did get a nice chunk of questions. So we'll see where it all goes. So sit back, relax, give us a few minutes to stretch, refill our water, and we'll get ShadowFox on here in a minute. Don't go anywhere, guys.
of his like godhood in them.
And we are back.
You can't just say that and then go live.
I'm not the one who knows it. I'm not the one who pressed that go live button.
Okay, we need to have a conversation after this, so that's just what we're gonna do. Because I need all the dates.
Right?
No details.
Welcome back, guys.
I was just talking about what may happen with Zale's pups.
Oh shit, yeah, okay, we're talking behind the scenes after this, yeah. Welcome back, guys. We are here with ShadowFox. Thank you for joining us today, Shadow. We have a lot of questions for you, actually.
Yay!
I will try to I will try to ask as many as possible, but I do want to squeeze in any questions that Rhojin and HB Fox may have as well. Unless they get answered through some of these questions. So first things first, just because it's fresh in my mind and Weird's just asked it, why do you attract so many drow women? Also, why do your characters give off secret agent men?
Hey, the drow women thing, I have no clue. I know other people like make it a goal for their character. Nobody in this group, at least not that I know of. But I've known people who make it a goal to go out of the way to find drow women to try to get with them in a campaign. And it seems to just happen for me. Because, guys, to be honest, when I made Caldross, I was like, I have no interest in doing a romance kind of thing. None whatsoever. It's just, yeah, sure. You know, he's got his goals in mind, and he's going to do whatever it takes to progress them. And then I guess just like in real life, when you do that, something comes up and falls in your lap, almost literally. And that something was Rhojin putting Fira right in Caldross's face. And yeah.
Hey, he dangled the fruit. You didn't have to take it.
It was tempting.
You're telling me that you wouldn't jump at the opportunity of a tall dragoness drow lady.
Yeah,
Oh, I would.
Zara, I don't think you're in a position to talk when it comes to that. Mrs.
Yeah.
Joins the red dragon down in his underground lair and leaves the rest of the group to their own devices.
Okay.
Or Mrs. has Drow Daddy on the side in
my
one
God.
of our other campaigns.
Our other campaign, yeah, he's my drow daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm all about the D&D guys. Drows and dragons.
I don't know why. I honestly do not I don't know why everybody has an infatuation with drow.
I blame Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's that broody bad boy. We just love it, and that's the energy drow give off.
Then as for the whole Snit Reiju ship
Dreskar.
going on right now.
Oh.
No. Snit Reiju.
I thought you were doing the secret agent man thing. Continue.
No, because there's another drow lady involved here. As for the whole Snit Reiju thing, not going to reveal fully what is actually going on there just yet. That will come up in game, but I can say at least this: Snit has been nicer to Reiju, like gone out of his way to do things for Reiju, specifically because he finds her sweetness and willingness to give, and her innocence endearing.
So why do your characters give off a secret agent vibe?
I don't know. I guess that's just how I like to play things.
You just missed an opportunity to say, if I told you, I'd have to kill you.
This is true.
Oh, you did. You did.
Because it's either secret agent or Rambo.
So
It's true.
tell me if I'm wrong here, guys, because maybe it's just delusions in my own head. But at least I play rogues differently, right?
You do.
Yeah.
You're thankfully not just the steely murder hobo that everyone plays rogues at the
But I mean, like right now I have 2 active rogue characters. and I like to think I play them differently from each other, aside from, they're really good at perception. So guess what? They're gonna roll perception rolls as much as they can.
I can
But
see
like I
into
play them differently, I hope.
That's why it's weird that
Hope I always do
Caldross, like, you don't have any perception. That's why it's weird, because you always play
Negative
characters
one
for
wisdom.
perception.
Caldross is oblivious to most things.
Aww.
And it's probably saved him from trying to set people on the right path who don't want to be set on the right path.
Yeah.
Right.
Typical paladin.
By the way, yeah. Yeah. But I also use the excuse of him being a vengeance paladin to be why he doesn't like, oh, you're undead, you're evil automatically, like, or you're part undead, so you're evil automatically. You have no blood in you. That's demon blood. Blah blah blah. Like he's got other higher, much higher priorities to deal with than trying to shame somebody for their lineage.
Good, because we would have kicked you out of our group a long time ago.
Exactly. So
fuck this guy.
The holier than thou paladins never survive long in my campaigns.
Yeah, and they shouldn't.
Lathander.
Lathander isn't
honestly
holier
shouldn't.
than thou.
He sure thinks he is.
The sun bro, really?
That actually kind of follows up one of Azrin's questions about what would you be in an evil campaign. As we kind of mentioned before we went on our break, you have a very nasty build for Caldross if he went evil.
I will say this. There was a chance that Caldross, and there actually still is a small chance Rhojin hasn't hit that button. I never told Rhojin what the qualifications for that button would be, but he hasn't hit that button yet, and he almost hit a different one.
Now I'm just gonna start pressing all the buttons just to see what happens.
Oh dear God, let's end the campaign.
But
like it's just like, oh, just let me do this.
No, there was a very particular path that I saw that if certain things started lining up and running the wrong way, Caldross would go Oathbreaker, and it wouldn't be pretty. Yeah, I have a horrifyingly tasty build for a level 20 evil Caldross. It's mean.
Oh God. Okay, I have a two-parter for you. The first question is from Siva, and then the follow-up is from Azrin. You have played several kobolds and have done an extensive background research on the race itself. Why are they of any interest to you? What special things do they bring to a campaign? And then the follow-up is, what was the inspiration for your Christmas kobold?
Okay, so first of all, yes, I have played 3 kobolds, and that's a lot, I know. But to be fair, one was a play test for another. Ziggs was a play test for Snit, and I worked out how I wanted builds to go. And then I did that because I didn't realize Sonata was going to be a fully reoccurring thing, and I didn't want to keep. And that's why I came up with Kage for season 2, because I didn't want to keep treating it as a play test arena. I wanted to have something for it, because it's a pretty special entity of its own, and that's why I want Fox to go full campaign with it. But that all aside, and then the third one, Cole, was at Rhojin's express instruction that everybody had to be kobolds. So
you were the influence of that, by the way.
I was. Oh, I feel honored.
Because you and I went on that long-winded discussion about how like kobolds are like the greatest thing in existence.
They are. So to follow up with the other parts of the question, then I have done some research aside from most of my research came through just watching YouTube videos on lore and races and stuff like that, and that's usually where I start if I'm going to make a character of a certain species. but just to get an understanding of the culture and basically decrease the learning curve by using the lore masters that are already out there and what they've done, and just watch their video. It's a lot faster, guys. It's a lot faster to do it that way. But yeah, so that's mostly where my research with kobolds has been, and I like kobolds a lot because they have very unique characteristics. Like if you go off of the PHB, or not the PHB, but whichever one was the first one to publish kobolds as a playable race, they start off with a -2 strength, which is actually one of my least favorite stats to put anything into, because I like upping that dex, and they got that up dex, and they're also very...
This is, of course, before Tasha changed those rules where they're like, you can rearrange that shit, play how you want.
Yeah, which I appreciate that they did that, because it's valuable to understand that anybody of a species could be something completely different. But yeah, with the kobolds, pack tactics is a great part to have, and it's not part of the canon player race, but Rhojin has allowed it, and most other DMs will allow it, because the kobold Erd variant is part of the monster manual, which is the winged kobold, so they get a fly speed. So it's nice to have all those advantages. They do have disadvantages too, like the -2 strength score, like sunlight sensitivity, but you get creative, and you have a DM that allows you to get creative, like Fox and Rhojin have both been very, very giving in what they allow us to do. You get like welder's goggles, and the sunlight sensitivity goes away, so it just gives you opportunities to be creative, I feel.
Small and creative. I think part of it too, just from knowing you are obsessed with geckos, and they are basically the geckos of the D&D world as dragon geckos.
You know what? Yeah, actually, I will add that to my answer, because most of the pets I've owned throughout my life have been lizards. So playing a small dragon that likes to fly around and shoot things and yell and make traps and all sorts of weird contraptions. Yeah, that's right up my alley.
And what was your... I think I already know the answer, but for those who don't know, what was your inspiration for the Christmas kobold? Making them coal and making them all steamy and fiery.
So I'm a little bit of a pyro. Have been for most of my life. I like blacksmithing. I took a short course in it, and basically I was like, what if a kobold's running around with skin that looks like he's on fire? And then there was also this inspiration. The real inspiration for the build was I can't remember who it was, but somebody had a picture out there of a kobold whose armor was literally cut up pieces of shovels, and had 2 cast irons on his forearms that had sharpened the points, and he was stabbing with the cast iron pans. And that was... I was like, yeah, okay, I need to make a fighter that does that. Cool.
It worked out great. And still stuck with the Christmas theme. It was great. So this is an interesting one. Azarin asks, does Kaldras trust Rose as a person and or party member?
So the shortest answer is ultimately yes, but that's like, I don't know. That's like a U.S. versus Russia in the Cold War standoff kind of thing.
Oh, so extreme.
Because it's not that he thinks she's a bad person. It's not that he thinks that she's doing things for bad reasons. It would be that he doesn't like the way she goes about things because it doesn't include at least from his perspective, it doesn't include the interests of the party, and more than likely she's doing it to also up her ante in things aside from the party. So she gets a power, like the way he sees it, when she does stuff like grabbing the artifacts from Vincent's smoldering body at the end of that fight and disappearing. His first thought was, oh great, she's going to go sell those to the highest bidder, or she's going to go put those where she can get them when she needs them. What are we going to do with that kind of thing?
Mob boss daughter.
Instead of feeling like, I mean, his want is for the greatest good to happen, and he feels like a lot of her decisions would also maybe not be straight to the worst thing in the world, but something that gives her a boost.
Okay, next one I have from Rosaleaf. We have, since meeting the group, this is for Caldross, since meeting the group and going through what he's gone through, do you feel or think that Caldross has stayed true to his virtues as a vengeance paladin? Or does he think he's slightly strayed into a different order's virtues?
No, he feels he stayed true, and I feel that too. Because, well, I mean, we just took down a lich that was about to end the world. We took down the collector. It wasn't ultimately anything he or the party did. It was obviously something that Kyo did in the end there. But we took out the collector, which in his mind was an evil entity, but one that he knew that if he got into a direct fight with, there was no winning that. So yeah, it was one of those situations where when we were starting to walk out of the collector's vault, Caldross was trying to think how long it would take him to pull the resources and how likely it would be to pull the resources to be able to take on an entity such as the collector.
See, we're not too terrible. Ish.
It wasn't that the party isn't strong. It's that he, with everything that they had just experienced in the gauntlet, like that's a show of power that you can't go head to head with.
Mm-hmm.
So
since he's dead, I can say if Caldross tried, he would have ultimately failed. And then he and anyone he brought along would have been on display in the vault.
Sucks to be your order, bro.
What order?
What order?
Just want to say that. I do have one more question left from the list, but wanted to give you guys a chance to ask any questions about any of his characters before I ask it.
I have a question about Kage.
Yay!
Oh, I thought she was going to ask about dress card. All right.
So, Kage has been an interesting character to watch from my perspective. Knowing what his story is and what his motivations have been. But now, with everything that he's learned by the end of Sonata 2, with the coming of the shadow and the danger that it poses, and the desire from the Archfey that he encountered to rebuild the organization that fought it off last time, what is Kage's perspective on the situation as it is, and what how has his drive changed, if at all? What is his desire for the immediate future?
He's getting ideas for the campaign.
I can answer that question for you if it goes to a full campaign. No.
Ouch.
But no. So, anyways, he has a mission. I feel I'm being a bit cryptic to the audience in leaving it at he has a mission, full stop.
I was trying to be cryptic as well without asking the question, but not revealing too much.
But yeah, so he has a mission from the person that you know, Fox, and he's going to do his utmost to fulfill that mission, which is why I voted for the path for Sonata 3 that I did. However, he does have goals and aspirations beyond that, and one of them just became massively closer, at least by his perspective, when she handed him the seed. When your character handed him the seed. And that is, I feel it's probably safe to say, because I mean, he's obviously Fae-blooded. That's no big reveal. And I feel it's pretty safe to say most Fae would like to be an Archfey. So yeah, he would like to make a play at that. He doesn't particularly want to be like a power holder, but there's people that he admires that he would like to be on somewhat even ground with, and that is the step that he feels he needs to reach in order to be there. And one of those people now is your character, the one in the woods that he met. So yeah, that has changed. So all that being said, to directly answer your question, he wants to complete his mission. He wants to do what he can to complete his mission, and then he would be, beyond that, he would be trying to help. I'm sorry, can you give me her name again?
Alcius.
And do what he can to help Alcius in protecting her forest and rebuilding the Lyceum, stuff like that, and hopefully win her over a little bit in some way or another to help him be able to reach his goals and aspirations. But he is also genuinely a kind-hearted person, rambunctious and whatnot, but kind-hearted, and he doesn't want, a threat like the Shadow. He doesn't want that around in the world.
Good to know. I'm eager to see if that will change at all by the end of Sonata 3.
Who knows?
Only a month away. We'll see how that goes. Rhojin, did you have any questions for him?
What exactly would it take to push him over?
Oh, God.
Nope. Nope.
So I'm just free to just take shots in the dark and hit something.
I told you when I created him, I would tell you at the end of the campaign if you never managed to hit it. But again, I want to say,
I got close.
You didn't get close. You found the secret path that I wasn't even aware of.
He found the variant.
I did the side quest.
That's pretty funny though.
And before you try it, no, it would not be Fira's death.
Oh no, I wouldn't kill Fira. That's cheap. That's cheap pain. If I'm gonna cause pain, it's gonna have to actually hurt.
Yeah.
That's just killing an NPC.
And the weird thing is, as Kaldros, I've invested more in Fira, and you can attest to this, especially recently. As Kaldros, I've invested more in Fira than Kaldros has in himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have questions, but I can't ask them because they pertain to future things in the campaign.
After game show.
After game show, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know Kaldros is thinking about going home, which has made me create a situation as to what is going on at home. Who knows? Maybe you'll go there, maybe you won't. Either way, you'll find out what happened.
Yeah, no matter which decision, I want to assure you your efforts in developing that won't go to waste. But yeah, I have some ideas.
Oh, it's sitting there. It's sitting there just in case he decides, it's time to go home.
Hey, depending on what happens, there's still epilogue. I'm sure we'll get an epilogue option.
I have a feeling the post season 2 shows are going to have to be multiple and several hours.
7 hours of us answering questions on why I torture you so much.
We need more than 7 hours for that.
Look, if you don't want me to mess up your character so much, stop giving me open backstories and just saying "fuck me up, fam."
Whoa, that's so true. Okay, we have one more question from Azarin. Since considering there's a strong chance that Yixis, or any of the pups, or all the pups in general, will meet Rose, since Rose is the unofficial babysitter for Zale's kids, would he be willing to try and form any kind of relationship, considering she's converted a small sect of gnolls to worship Coatil?
I keep forgetting she did that.
A bunch of desert gnolls worshiping a water goddess.
Can you imagine being Coatil and you know how the gods are supposed to be aware of their followers? Just how the...
Yeah, she just... I just want an image of her...
nowhere.
Just her, pointing over to, the gnolls and just asking Rose, why?
I mean, there's Oasis now. It's cool.
Yixis would never turn down a relationship unless he had strong reason to. However, I can tell you Yixis would be scared AF of Rose and her antics if he knew anything of her from Zale's stories of her, or I don't know. Basically, if he saw Rose doing most of the crap she does, he'd probably be wary of her. Not particularly because he thinks she's bad, but just very unsure of what to do about it.
Scaredy pup. Oh God, I'll have to ask later, what Yix would think about his crush having siblings now. Yeah. Anyway, that'll be interesting. That'll be for part 2 of No Way Out. It's called No Way In. And I don't know. That's where my brain goes. Anyway, that is actually all the time we have, unfortunately, guys. But as we discussed, it sounds like we have a lot of questions for each other regarding Destiny Forge, but we'll definitely have to plan an endgame talk show session for that when it is time. But for now, thank you, ShadowFox, so much for joining us on our Behold Lore show. And thank you, as always, to Rhojin and HB Fox for joining us as well. This is not the only show we do. We have several shows, this one being the first Saturday of every month airing, where we talk about lore within our campaigns and one-shots across the board. As usual, we don't know what we're going to talk about for next time, so just keep an eye on all the socials for who the next guest and upcoming topic will be. I can confirm right now that our next guest is going to be Groudon. No topic as of yet, but it will be pre-recorded since some of us will be occupied that first Saturday of November. So it will be a pre-recording. So any questions we will have out beforehand will not be from the live chat, just as a heads up. But once again, like I said, we have several other shows. We have our Monday show, which is our Mass Effect Horizon show. It is the Mass Effect 5e conversion where I play as the DM and have these guys go through space in a shiny new gunship, which is extinct, and that'll be interesting for future space shenanigans. And then we have Tuesday, our Destiny Forge Season 2 campaign, which is technically coming to a close soon, depending on how many side quests we decide to do before going to the final boss. We've all been there when it comes to RPG games, and we're doing just that, where we are avoiding the ending. Then we have our 2 alternating shows. One every other Saturday is going to be our Withered Waste show, which is our Archon Apocalypse wasteland type game, where Rhojin once again takes us through the deserts and the wastes, where I feel like we don't get much done. But that's part of the drama. It'll be very, very interesting for the next game. Let's just say that. If you don't know what's going on, follow our YouTube. It's a real doozy. And then every other Saturday, when that's not playing, we have our Pathfinder 2. I almost said that was right. Okay, Wayward Wanderers. I almost said... Wow, I'm all over the place. Wayward Wanderers, which is our Extinction Curse campaign, where Azurin runs a handful of circus performers as they try to discover the mysteries of the world right now. So you can catch everything either here live on Twitch or on our YouTube channel, where everything is posted within the week of which they have aired. Or you can check out our Behold Roleplay website, where we've got everything on there, including our podcast, all of our other links, Discord, all that good stuff, if you ever wanted to check it out, at beholdrp.com. Once again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight, and we will see you again here in a month. Otherwise, we will be back to our regular scheduled programs on Monday for some more Mass Effect. Until then, guys, we'll see you later.